welcome everybody to Threads 2022 and to our talk, What is Art? We have three local artists with us today. We have Madhu Kumar, who is from Regina, but currently has just moved to Toronto. So she's joining us from Regina today. Welcome, Madhu. And we have Gabriela Garcia-Luna, who is also a local Saskatoon artist who's joining us here today. And also Alejandro Romero from Saskatoon, but now North Battleford, as I understand. Welcome. Nice to have you all here today. So perhaps I might start by asking you just to briefly introduce yourselves and tell us a little more about your journey as an artist.
So, of course, I'm from Canada. I moved to Canada 20 years ago. But my journey as an artist started when I finished my undergrad degree in India. I was a self-taught artist who did not have any formal education or took any art classes growing up. Although I was always an admirer of beauty, be it nature or of any kind. So I started with copying old masters' oil paintings using oil paints on plywood boards and also using watercolor brushes because I had no idea about paints or materials or whatsoever, how to paint, right? But then I was on my fourth painting when I got married. So then, of course, the painting took the back seat, and my family became the priority. And occasionally, I was painting, and so when my children started going to university, that I thought of pursuing my passion towards becoming an artist. So I moved to Regina in 2012, I guess, and I enrolled myself at the University of Regina and finished my Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in 2017 at the age of 50 plus. So yes, I'm a visual artist, and I prefer using oil paints, and I'm a storyteller who is painting the stories of immigrant women on canvas.
I'm Gabriela. My name is Gabriela Garcia-Luna. I was born in Mexico. I live in Canada since 2009. I'm a visual artist. My work is based on photography. I work with photography in a way that it's not, the result is not a photographic work. Photography for me is a material to construct alternative reality or alternative way of seeing things. My artistic journey started, I guess, as probably everybody, we are influenced in our childhood with, what is our surroundings. So I grew up in Mexico City, which is a very culturally rich place, Mexico itself, and Mexico City is like kind of a place where many cultures and different layers of history converge. I grew up going to museums, going to archaeological sites. My family always encouraged me a lot to visit galleries, museums, all cultural places. And going to museums was a big influence for me. It was almost like coming into a different reality, to a different space where my thoughts and my feelings were not the everyday thing. So when I started studying graphic design. My interest was in art. At that point, I was not clear that it was in art more than in the graphic design, but for me, that was a viable career. So I started learning photography. And when I was using the camera, the 35 millimeters camera, first time, I started seeing things differently. And it was a revelation for me that a tool like a camera could make me feel, see, and think differently. So that opened for me many ways of thinking that didn't exist before. And that's the way I adopted photography as a way of expression.
First, I have to start that I am Alejandro, a guest in this beautiful land of Saskatchewan, 36 territory and the homeland of the Métis and many other nations. And I was born in Puerto Rico, so I'm grateful to be a guest here. I started my journey as an artist at a very young age. I was fortunate, as I mentioned, that I have parents that gifted me with the tools for me to start thinking of seeing life from a different angle with a camera. I recall being gifted a camera when I was 3 or 4 years old, and a lot of family pictures. I'm not in it because I was the one taking them. My mother also put us always, we never have guns in my house. She was a peacekeeper, so then the gifts that she gave were things for making art and be creative. And she encourages us to be creative.
Thank you very much, Alejandro, Gabriela, and Madhu for your introductions. And I can already start to see threads forming in between your stories, but perhaps to extend the conversation a little more, I might ask you what art might mean for each of you, and how does the kind of work you do, if you'd like to talk a little bit about the kind of work you do, how does it influence your art practice, your vision of art?
The difference between the work that I did before that I do now is that I use the tools that I have, whatever it is, if it is video, if it is sound, if it is light, if it is painting. There's a component of many different things to create an installation, to create an experience for people to be part of the message that I'm trying to convey, and then go to their own conclusions and then just go deep into their understanding of the theme or the topic that I'm working mostly. I can say that I observe and I work with the concepts of identity, the concepts of construction of realities, and the concepts of being in between spaces, being here, not being here, the perceptions of those realities, because we can be in both sides at any given point. And I want the person that see the work to get into those places, to be part of of that experience of being in both places. Sometimes it triggers people. It is not pretty, but it is an opportunity for them to just feel something. It is my interest that people feel something when they are participating in my art interventions or installations, which is a construction that uses a lot of many different elements. So the senses of people are prone to feel something. I want people to feel something. I want people to experience something.
Yeah, it's interesting. You are talking about the two different places being in between. I can relate to that as well with my work. Yeah,
I think it is very important, and as we all are, like you mentioned, Gabriela and Madhu, that we are in this dichotomy of what is the past and what is the present and what is our identity in those two places, and those identities shift as we just grow as human beings, and that's okay, right? We can have more than one identity, and we can create our own identity, and that's the beautiful of art. What do you think, Madhu?
Yeah, as you said, I think we are doing the same thing, right? Very similar things to incorporate other people and do collaboration. For me, art is an opportunity to express myself because I'm doing stories of immigrant women. So I'm telling stories is my way of connecting to society. And so my art is all about sharing similar experiences and emotions of displacements and disconnection, disempowerment, instability of being an immigrant woman. So painting stories of immigrant women is connecting dots that way, connecting immigrant women in similar situation as mine, as of any one of us, three of us. So I'm using art as a tool to make women strong and empower them. And I truly believe that art leaves an everlasting effect on our ability to inspire, connect, and relate to each other. And art is a universal language that can help communicate to broader audiences and can be interpreted in many languages. And I'm really humbled over here. I want to just say, I'm very humbled and pleased to touch so many lives through my art without knowing them, and opening doors for other immigrant women to see themselves in these stories and help them to instill the sense of belonging in the community in a positive way.
Yes, it's interesting to see the different ways we approach this way of connecting. Certainly for us, we are expressing art is a point of connection or a tool for connection. And I expressed that as well when I was saying I was traveling, and through my camera, I was connecting with people, not speaking the language, not even recognizing the characters of, writing. In my work is very abstract or semi-abstract, I would say. So for me, the connection in my work is expressing more um, um, subtle ways of experience, similar to what Alejandro was doing, these places in between, For me, the in between is related to the world where we all live and the universe where I exist. I say the universe where I exist is an inner space, and as well a space for exploration that is vast. And that's an introspection. The introspection has led me to know that space and to travel that space, but realizing this is something that is difficult to share, the unique experience of self. Um, and at the same time, I'm a person in the world related to everything in the world. So this in between two places is where I'm interested. I'm interested exploring through my art practice. I think art is this place where everything connects, the inner and the outer. Um, and a lot of the elements that I use in my work are botanical elements, nature, landscapes, because I think it's almost like a ground where we all connect. We can all connect to the silence and the space within us and the space in the world.
That it creates also the opportunities for others to see the connections between us, but also a curiosity to see how we see their own culture, their own stories, their own ways of living, and that create opportunities. Also, the one of the things I don't know about the two of you, but having an accent and having been from another place also create other challenges, like uh, people might not relate to our stories, people might not relate to the way we see their stories, but in that process it gives opportunities for conversations. And when the heart is open, when art is there and those opportunities are generated, I think it is a good thing that art is used as a mechanism for create those conversations and those bridges and connecting those paths. What do you think? Would that relate to some of the work that you do?
I think I can say from my part, I can say there are no specific paths in our career, in our careers. So there's this challenge of you are always inventing your path. You are always at the verge of nothing in a way. So there's always something else you are building up upon. Many of us, we need lateral jobs or commissions or something to continue our practice. Art is quite universal in many ways, but continuing your art practice in a serious way, in a committed way, it's very challenging. And I particularly live as an independent artist. I mean, I don't have a permanent job anywhere else or anything. It's my artwork. Probably as an artist, the big challenge is like you have to be always reinventing yourself and in your art practice. Other challenges come from coming from a different place to a new place. That I think Alejandro was talking about that. We have a different accent, we have different backgrounds and visions, and that is new to people. But also a lot of benefits, I think, which for me, the benefits are the benefits that anybody can see when traveling. You come to a new place and you see things in a different way. That those fresh eyes, are necessary in every place, and they are kind of sparks of energy and sparks of opening different possibilities. For myself, I travel a lot, and travel has been a tool for me to do that, and that's one of the benefits.
Maybe, thank you. Gabriela, maybe I could ask more specifically and very briefly that have you felt you've made the connection, your work has made the connection with people here just to tell those stories and to bring those multiple perspectives?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
you could.
Yes, I think I've been fortunate. I think my connection with people started from the beginning. When I came I lived in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. When I came to live to Canada, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, 37,000 people versus millions in Mexico City, right? So this was a very small place. I continue my work because I had a practice before coming here, and I just stick to what I felt and what I did. My work was well received.
There has been opportunities that people contact you indirectly. Like one exercise that I do when I put my art out is that I just go anonymously and I don't tell who the artists are. And I ask people when they are in the public gallery or in the gallery or in the stores. And I say, what do you think about that? It looks, how do you feel when you see this work, right? Because that feedback is important for me to see. So people might say, oh, I love the color. How I never saw that I did a painting of the Saskatoon Bridge, right? One of them, the Broadway Bridge or the University Bridge. And then they said, oh, I never thought that you could just see those colors in a sunset in the bridge like that. And it's beautiful. It makes me happy. I have done other exhibitions that are installations and people go and I said, oh, that looks like the Ku Klux Klan. That's the reference, even though it have nothing to do with Ku Klux Klan. So it gave me an opportunity to explain that this is about that in between places and traveling, and this is from one place to another, and this is not a Ku Klux Klan even outfit. This is jilaba. It is a sacred dress that they use to go to prayer in Islamic cultures, and they do it. And this work was based in Morocco, and this was something that brings that connection with that place where the art was created. So it is a great opportunity. And then people, oh, I never thought of it. That's interesting. Or, oh, okay. And then I think that's a way of connecting and then creating those stories more real to people and more present.
It's like any other profession, so it is also associated with all the anxieties and failures and struggles. And then taking risks, right? As Gabriela was mentioning, you have to take risks as any other profession, and not necessarily you get success the way you want it to be. in my case, because I'm doing stories of immigrant women, and so it's for me to take the stories is a big barrier for me, because not everybody would love to share their personal stories with others. So those are really big barriers for me. And but I'm really thankful to every woman who has allowed me to come forward to enter their lives and homes and allowed to me to share their stories with all of you. So that's a big challenge and big barrier for me.
I wonder, I would like to add a little bit about this subject of barriers and benefits. I think the connection for also comes a lot. I mean, I'm just talking to the audience. You know, the connection comes a lot from your involvement with the community. Because you need your work to be seen, you need your ideas to be expressed, and you need to share those ideas with others. And it doesn't matter if you don't have an opportunity for an exhibition yet. You can invite somebody to your studio and show what you're doing, your sketches, or take part of a membership or a workshop or something, and start connecting those ideas. It's very important that we you know, as newcomers, start relating to what is there and start to look what are the tools and start to ask, not being afraid of asking, not being afraid of coming to a gallery, opening a door, registering to a course. It's intimidating, and it's part of the challenge, but it's very important.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's lovely the way you've put that, that being in the community and also, having people come in and you go out to them, this sort of creates this reciprocal relationship. And I'm afraid that I'd like to end it here, but with this sort of conclusion that I have been able to tease out all the connecting threads between you, the in-between space. And although you may not understand it to look at me, I also come from that in-between space, and I understand fully how difficult it can be to connect in those in-between spaces. But by clearing preconceived cultural ideas, as I believe you said, Gabriela, or by being humbled, and art is the heart of everything. And that, Madhu, that you can tell those stories having been an immigrant woman yourself, and to make those dots connect. I think you're doing incredible work here in Canada that is so necessary. And I think that we need to call upon people to come and see you as much as you go out to see them. And in the words of John Berger, I think that you're creating new ways of seeing, being, and knowing, and that is the future forward. So thank you very, very much for sharing your stories, and we look forward to exploring your art and to see where the journey takes you.